Welcome to the American Roadrunner Podcast, coming to you live from the Hippie Killer in Perris Fairgrounds, California.
Not to be confused with the city of Perris, California. We just happen to be at the fairgrounds.
Also not to be confused with Paris, France.
That's right. That would be a good one. This
Although
is
we are surrounded by a bunch of Franks, but those are hot dog Franks.
Oh my God, there's so much good food here today.
Yes.
I'm so excited to be here today. I'm your co-host, Bob Marshall.
And I am Brian Phillipson,
Yep.
also co-host, I guess you would say.
I think the term would really be provost hosting.
Okay, whatever
We're provost hosting here. We got our booth set up. Provosting on the booth.
Yes, so we are here at the Perris Fairgrounds. We are podcasting from a little booth that we rented. We've got the motorcycles sitting out in front right now, and a whole bunch of books on sale.
Leaking oil all over the darn place. People have been slipping in it all day. We're going to have to get one of those A-frames. Look out for oil soon enough. Unfortunately, the new engine is just doing okay. We got a leak or two in it, but... It's not bad for the $400 score I got, so I can't complain.
They're supposed to leak, though, right? They're marking their spots?
Well, you're right. That's usually reserved for a Harley as opposed to a Kawasaki, but at this point, this poor old bike's just been through the ringer and back. I don't know what else to do with it.
Hey,
but it keeps going. It got here just fine. I think we beat you all. And then some.
You were leading the way, though. You were showing us where to go.
That's true. That's true. The funny thing is, y'all thought I knew where I was going. I had no clue. I just kind of pointed the direction at the dam, and
so you weren't just doing figure eights to show off? That was you.
No,
that
was truly Bob Marshall being lost.
Now about the motorcycle leaking and leaving its spots, what you ought to tell people is that it's like a finely tuned SR-71 Blackbird spy plane, because the thing with that is that they made it so that it would leak and just gas would come right out of it when it's on the tarmac, but when it got up in the air, the pressure would actually seal up all the
nice
valves and everything, and it'd purr like a kitten up in the upper atmosphere, and it was made like that. So you could just tell people that's what it's all about.
It's only one drop,
aerodynamic.
so I'm doing okay. Hey, I'm Bob.
Hey, Bob. Mike.
Mike, good to meet you.
Good to meet you. How you doing?
Good. Come on, sit down.
You're
stuck in us.
You got a story to tell us?
No story.
No?
We're just stealing people left and right. Where are you from? Yeah?
Yeah.
Hang on. Can you tell? This is really exciting. We've only had one or two people who actually do automobiles. we're a bunch of motorcycle addicts ourselves.
That's what your girlfriend was telling me.
Yeah. Tell us about your car club.
Well, it's called Model Citizens.
Yeah.
We're out of Riverside. There's a few chapters running around in Texas and stuff like that.
Nice.
And basically, we like to do good things for people. So once a year, we take on a kind of responsibility, whether it's donating stuff to a battered women's shelter.
Cool.
Or getting Christmas gifts for the elderly and stuff like that. So
nice.
One of our members says we are guys that like to do things for people with car tendencies.
There you go.
It's kind of like a way to get us all together, and do something nice for people around us. And
that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's pretty laid back, and there's a lot of good car clubs here, and you run into
Well, there really
people.
is. That's my favorite part about this show. There's actually cars and motorcycles.
Yeah,
and a few good things in between.
And they also have an old van. Rolling Heavy has an old van section, and that's always fun to go back and see. I mean, I'm kind of an older guy, and
yeah, me too. I get it.
Yeah, so it's like a lot of my older cousins had vans and stuff like that. So it's nice to see them.
Yeah, a lot of us were conceived in vans.
Yeah. Hey, well, I was going to talk about that, but yeah, I still got some shag carpeting on my body somewhere.
Now, when they start making excursions in that culture, then I think I'll be in. I'm still in a newer excursion myself. I haven't gotten into the older van, but
cool.
Soon enough. My excursions can be just as big as a van. I reckon it's a little taller, a little better at off-roading, but it works pretty well.
It's a shag wagon, and it's good for zombie killing.
I never drive the damn thing, so I don't even know.
Where are you at?
Downtown Riverside.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah,
downtown Riverside. Get to venture out, travel a lot.
I was there last night.
Okay.
Yeah. We were hanging out, and
I was born and raised there, so I just don't know any different. I think, you just kind of get stuck with something and keep going. I like to travel out and venture, so hit the road a lot, but it's always on two wheels, rarely, unless I'm land speed racing. I do land speed racing,
Where do you do that at?
That's El Mirage.
Okay.
We go out there with the SCTA as well as up north to Bonneville. So,
Yeah, that's fun. That's
it's a
fun.
lot of fun. Other than that, I'm on motorcycles.
Have you guys been out here every year, or?
Yeah, no, this is our first year with a booth. I reckon I've been out here. First time I came to Hippie Killer, we were down in Winchester in a field.
Okay.
Everybody was getting stuck in the dirt.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That was a while back, but before that, I guess it was at Cuddy's dad's place. So I didn't go to that one. So I reckon my first one was probably the third one. Technically, this is the 11th one. So
Yeah.
this show's been going on for a while.
Yeah, you guys go to Born Free?
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you do. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's always a good show. A few other good ones. Depending. Sometimes I'm just out and about racing.
What's the next show you're going to?
Oh man, I have to look at my calendar. I'm not supposed to remember any of that. I almost forgot to come to this one. Holy heck. I was getting all excited. I mean, the weather's great. We really should be out riding instead of stuck at a show.
Nice.
But tell us about your car though.
Okay, so I have a 1950 Ford shoebox.
Yeah, okay.
And still working on it. It runs good.
Yeah.
Drives pretty well.
Have you chopped the top or lowered it?
I
or-
haven't gotten into any of that yet.
Okay,
I'm trying to
keeping
get
it
it.
stock?
I'm trying to get it to where I'm not always looking over my shoulder when I'm driving it, thinking what's going to break on it next.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm having some disc brakes put in it.
Oh, cool.
And so that's taking a little bit longer.
Yeah, that
I was hoping to have it
conversion.
done today, but didn't happen.
And it's got a solid front axle.
Yeah, everything's
Yeah.
good. It has the original flathead. It's fun to drive.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice,
it's really
nice.
fun to drive. Yeah.
Get you there, not too fast, not too slow.
Yeah,
Still get you there.
So I'll probably run that into the ground and then maybe change the engine out once I kill this one.
Now you're not, if I may, you're 6'4"? You're
6'8".
6'8"?
Yeah. So yeah,
That's great.
the whole chop the top thing takes
Yeah,
a lot
it
of
doesn't
energy
work.
from me. I'm gonna have to lower the seats if I do that.
And
No,
with the
I
hair,
could-
you're like 7 foot.
I know. Yeah, that puts me over 7 foot with my
That's
hair.
pretty good. I mean, I'm 6'2" and I barely fit in any. I got to stretch my motorcycles just to fit on them.
I'm definitely gonna have to move the seat back, the seat mounts
Sure,
back, and
sure.
get some more room in there. But for now, I lost some weight, so I fit in there pretty good.
Good for
Yeah,
you.
very
Good
good.
on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always a challenge, I reckon, being a little different. For me, it's all back. My legs are short, but my back's tall.
Oh yeah.
So it's harder
yeah.
to fit anywhere. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a good thing. I mean, I get my kid out there to help me with it, so he's enjoying it, trying to get him sparked in it, and he likes the older trucks, so that's a good thing.
Good. How old's your kid?
He's 16.
Nice.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Yeah, good age, yeah. Good age.
Yeah, getting him into it.
Yeah, he's always begging me. He's like, Dad, you got to show me how to drive stick. I don't want to be like one of these
Yeah,
kids that don't know how to
right,
drive stick.
right.
Yeah.
That's got the 3 on the tree hydrant.
And he says, I want to learn on your car, not all right.
Yeah.
Yep. I learned on a stick, and just driving a regular manual transmission, I just kind of like, I moan a little bit when I get in the car. I'm like,
Yeah.
I wish I could just, man.
Still have the old stick.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. The automatics can definitely be I don't know, seems like I'm always fighting it a little to get it to do what I want it to do.
Mhm.
My old F-150 it's still a stick, so that's my favorite. People always go, hey, you have a truck, can you help me move?
Yeah.
I go, no, but you can borrow my truck. Well, I don't drive stick. Well, you're going to
Yeah.
call U-Haul then. I don't know what to tell you.
It's definitely a different driving experience driving stick.
Yeah,
More
amen.
like, I think it's more of an extension of yourself
Yeah.
when you're in a stick.
Thank you. Having that relationship of marrying the engine and transmission,
Yeah.
I don't know, I really enjoy it.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. Yeah,
No,
you're
it's-
absolutely right. You got more control of the car, and it does become like an extension of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Well, Mike, I got to thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for having
that
me,
was
man.
great, man.
All right,
Yeah.
you guys have a good day.
Oh,
Yeah,
we're
you
having
made it.
fun.
Thank
Let
you.
your car club know we're over here enjoying
I
ourselves.
will. Thank
Give
you.
a
good
listen.
sport.
You might hear some of your stuff on the podcast.
Yeah, no
alright?
worries, man. I'm gonna look you guys up.
Cool.
All right, nice to meet
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah. Enjoy
Bye-bye.
the booth too,
Thank you.
because we are. I decided to bring out my older used book collection. I must have 100 Louis L'Amours or Zane Grace.
Louis L'Amour. Whenever I hear that name, I think he's some like French suicidal novelist or something, drinking wine and just.
I know, right? He did have that name. I can't imagine anything more Americana than a French name named L'Amour, and an old Western that he wrote.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've got great memories growing up. My dad always had a Louis L'Amour in his hand. Or something good, I wish I had $1 for every time I interrupted that man reading, and he never cared too much. He was always okay with me interrupting him reading. Go figure.
Yeah.
You got one. Well done. Everyone's walking by grabbing flyers from us,
Yep.
having a good time. Well, why don't we stop for a minute? We're going to get a few I'm not going to lie, we're packed up next to Bomonster here.
Yeah.
So it'll be really exciting to get him over. See if we can have our number one sponsor as guest on said podcast.
Yeah, so I think what we can say is we are breaking for a commercial break.
Nice. Breaking.
Stay tuned after these commercials.
No, stay clicked in.
Stay clicked in.
That's right. We're changing the terminology here.
Yeah.
Radio does not count anymore. We are podcasting. Welcome back. We found Amanda. Just kidding. We did not find Amanda.
How rude.
If y'all remember from one of our first and early podcasts, hey, Autumn, how are you?
Yeah.
What's up? I'm good. How are you guys?
What are you doing here?
Just come to hang out.
Nah?
Yeah.
Good.
You intercepted my coffee quest.
That's true. You were out
okay.
for coffee and we jumped in front of you saying, hey,
Yeah.
come talking to the mic again.
Exactly.
So it's been a few
weeks since the A-Team. That's the podcast that you were on. We called the A-Team if you're looking
for it. That's right. That was a good one. So how's it been?
It's been good.
Okay, let's talk about your significant other. Where the heck is she?
She's currently running through the mud for fun up at Glen Helen right now.
What a pile of crap. What the heck? I was thinking that today. I woke up and I went, wow, it's such a pretty day. I should just go for a ride. But
Yeah.
here we are enjoying the show.
It is a beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Sun's out, in and out, playing peekaboo behind the clouds. Clouds are keeping a good cover.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
Man, it's so good to see you.
It's good to see you guys.
How was your ride out?
It was awesome. Me and Alicia met up at a gas station, just kind of cruised through the streets, and
Nice.
it was a good day. It's nice.
Alicia, the other A, who
Yes.
refuses to be podcast.
We'll get her on here eventually.
It'll be AAA next time.
Yeah.
AAA.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad she brought her significant other
Yeah.
as well. So.
Misty's pretty rad.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
We're surrounded by good friends. Well, thanks for stopping by and saying hi.
Of course.
Good to see
Thank
you, beautiful.
you.
Always a pleasure.
Awesome.
I just shook her hand like we're that type of friend. I'm
We
just
do
gonna
hug,
real
though.
quick.
We do hug.
That's a hand hug.
Yes.
All right.
We're really excited. One Miss Beulah May, you might know her from a little podcast called Girl on a Moto.
That's me.
Is sitting here next to me.
One half of Girl on a Moto.
Well, some might say the better half, but we're not going to tell Connie that, are
I
we?
would not say that to Connie. That's
I
her
am
show,
so-
and I love her, and she's the boss.
I am so fortunate to call one Miss Beulah May my friend. Good to see you. How are you?
I'm good.
So you're just telling me you're in the middle of 6 different books you're reading.
6 different books, and 2 of them you gave me. One is Your American Roadrunner,
Nice.
and I've skipped around some chapters just for shits and giggles.
Oh, you're reading the pornographic chapters first.
I'm trying to avoid those, to be 100% honest, because I read some of your previews.
Nice.
And
nice.
I was like, I felt a little bit of a Me Too moment because
Right.
I didn't ask for all of that information.
Oh, boy.
You're welcome. Yeah.
So I'm trying to
Well, some people pay extra for that, and you're avoiding it like the plague. I like,
just
because we're
well,
friends.
That's the thing. That's literally the thing. Like, I wouldn't ask you some of these personal questions, so I think it's super brave that you wrote like honestly and like in the moment, and I can hear your voice when I'm reading the book, and so
Amen.
like I get it,
Aw.
but also a little bit was like, whoa.
Whoa.
But that's okay. That's okay. It's honest, and I
was
love
pretty
it.
reserved. I was trying to be a little
You
reserved
think?
with my down low, getting down low with the 411.
But I think, yeah, no, if it was written by a stranger, it might be different. But like I said, I literally hear your voice, and
You're so sweet.
I'm not sure if I want to hear you saying those things in my head.
Well, and that's funny thing too, because we were chatting about how to do the Audible for it.
Mm-hmm.
I've got it contracted out. I'm going to be bold enough to say again with one Mr. R.C. Bray, who's my favorite narrator, and he's still looking it over, seeing if it's something he's got time to do.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, yeah, I may just end up reading it myself for the fun of it.
Well, the one thing I liked about it is like when I'm reading it and like you're at a gas station and then you get on your bike and then you're like back into your thoughts again. It's
Yeah,
like that's what
exactly.
happens. It's
You're
what
abs-
happens
yeah.
when I'm writing, whether I'm listening to music or whatever. But like, shit just goes on in your head.
Right.
And this is. So I've been reading Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance for like 5 years.
Perfect.
Because
perfect.
it's so heavy. It's so heavy. Like I have to like do research. I need to make copious notes. It's really hard for me to get through because I just want to read about the writing stuff. And so your book is more like, definitely is more something I can relate to than what he was going through in that story.
You're so sweet. I appreciate you. And I appreciate the good review on
Yeah.
the book. That's great.
There you go. What else do you want to know?
What else you want to know, Brian?
Well, first of all, I got to say it's nice to finally have a face to go with the name. I always hear about you And I think Bob is always trying to measure our podcast to your own, like, you know.
We're different.
Well.
We're different. We each stay in our own lane, and I think that's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, when did you start podcasting, and what made you say to yourself, this is something I got to get into?
Well, Connie had a podcast before, and I would think I was like one of her first or second guests. And for me to do things, I have to like commit to it in writing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, because my word is pretty solid. And so once I said yes, it's like, well, I have to do this no matter how nervous or weird I think this is.
Yeah.
And so we did the podcast, and I listened to it, which I thought that was going to be hard. It was easier to listen to it than I thought. And then she wanted to do her own podcast that had more based on writing, rather than like the scene necessarily. And I just said, like, well, if you need a co-host, I'll be your co-host until you find like the person that you need. But if you don't want to do this solo, I'll do this with you. And we just started doing it, and we just have there's like a good back and forth, and like she does things a certain way and I do things a certain way, so we're both not coming from the same perspective, and I can listen to our own podcasts and I enjoy them, which is like super weird.
Yeah.
Like wanting to listen to myself, I'm like, I just heard this conversation, but I want to hear it again. Are we funny? Are we smart? But yeah, no, I really, I enjoy doing it, and I have a teensy-weensy bit of experience as far as like sound editing and stuff, and because it's only 2 to 4 tracks of just like, you know, vocal, like
right.
I was able to handle some of that stuff on my own instead of having to go into a studio every time, because it's hard to schedule people, like my schedule, her schedule, the guest schedule, and make sure the studio's open.
Right.
So now we have more of like a mobile podcast situation, and we can just do it on our own. We can just set up on our own anywhere, which can be challenging. Outdoors can be challenging. You never know what's going to happen. So
right.
like the editing is a little bit harder. It's definitely easier when you're in a controlled setting. But as far as like putting that all together, it's I enjoy doing it.
Wow.
I enjoy it.
I love hearing about your process. You know, I'm not sure much about our process. My wife, Miss Tracy over there, she's the one who's the sound engineer.
Okay.
And she does everything, and she makes me sound better, so I let her do her thing.
Totally. And I would never talk to you about like, you know, like my process and what I do. Like I know a couple of tricks, and I know how to put the tracks together, and I just know the basics. Like I'm not a professional by any means, but I've listened to several podcasts, and they're not all like super professional. It doesn't have to be like, what do you want to talk about?
Right.
Get it out there.
Well, you learn by doing.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, you know, studies have proven that you really do learn better when you know that you're going to have to do it or teach it to somebody else.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you just dive right into that cold pool, you're going to get used to it real fast.
Yep.
And, you know, David Bowie, when he first started like playing around with the synthesizers and stuff, they brought him to the studio, and they threw out the instruction manual, and they're like, we just want to make weird noises that aren't in the manual. And that's where a lot of that good stuff that Bowie did came from.
Right.
They would have never made it if they had gone, okay, so we have to
Right.
turn this style and we have to do this and do that.
Right.
Then you would have gotten the simple like Nintendo sounds.
Right. Yeah. No, we're no David Bowie, but we're doing our thing. The best way that we know how.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you know what? It's that adventurous spirit to just do it, dive in.
Yeah.
And not be like how a lot of people are these days and say, oh, I'm going to do that. I'm going to write a book someday. I'm going to do a podcast someday.
Yeah.
And just do it, you know?
This year, I have like a term limit on that shit. 1 year. If you're talking about it for 1 year and you haven't done anything, don't talk to me about it anymore.
Right.
So
Then we're not interested.
Yep. There is no trying.
Yeah.
You know, you either do or you don't.
Yeah.
I think Yoda said that.
Nice. I appreciate you guys letting me take a break. I got to sign a few books, so that's always
Cool.
exciting.
You're back.
I know. Makes me feel good. I'm back. Did we ask the burning question on how the heck is the podcast going for you?
It's going
I'm
good.
a big fan.
It's going good. We got some stuff that we want to do. We're just trying to, you know, make the time to fit it all in. We have so
It
many
takes so much
ideas
time,
and
yeah.
so many things that we want to do.
Yeah.
So we're just doing it as we can, and I hope our listeners can be patient, because we for sure aren't on a schedule. It's not like every Monday we're going to put out a
Right,
podcast.
right.
It's a big commitment.
Well,
And we want to do it right, so we want to make sure we're giving a good product. Girl on a Moto, girlonamoto.com.
Girlonamoto.com.
Also
I'm a
on
big fan.
Instagram and
Oh, and you
all
can
the
find
things.
the podcast anywhere.
Yeah,
I
we're
get
on
it on my Google Play,
Spotify.
Spotify.
Oh, we're on Google Play? I don't know. She does
yeah.
that part of it.
Oh, yeah.
We're on
yeah,
iTunes.
You're pretty much everywhere I am. I just kind of looked up, where's Girl on a Moto, and that's where I need
Damn
to be.
you, Bob.
Well, you guys have a little different format.
No, absolutely. And that's what I think. No, that's what I think is great. Like, there's room for everyone. We're talking about the shit that we want to talk about, like, and the perspective that we want to come from. My hope this year is to kind of narrow that focus down a little bit more. I think at first we're like, we're going to talk to all the people that ride motorcycles all the time, everywhere, all the things, all the companies. But it's like, and that's great. And everybody that we've tried to talk to has been super supportive and is like down for what we want to do. But I think if we can focus more on like the feminine side, the lady point of view of riding.
I think you need to be sexist, and I think the environment and or the people who listen to podcasts are ready. They want to hear from women who ride motorcycles. Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to be encouraging. I don't have like a huge message necessarily. I think from my perspective is just it was really important for me to meet other female riders because we kind of have, similar experiences, and definitely just want to aim it that way of being accepting. And there's another word, and it's like, I want people to do it. Not like accepting. What else is it? Like, come with me. Come do these things. Encouraging. I want to encourage, and that's still not the right word.
Empower seems to be a good new word.
Like, just do it.
Empower.
Just do it.
Amen.
And if you have a question, ask us, because we probably had those same questions and maybe didn't say them out loud, but maybe, we've answered them by now.
You just see that little 3-year-old girl that ran through here with her vest on. She's all excited to hang out.
Everyone's got their biker costumes on today.
Yeah. We're all dressed like pirates.
Mikey would say this is Renaissance fair for bikers.
Exactly. Mikey, as usual, would be very correct.
He is
Where's
correct.
the big turkey legs? I want to get one of those.
I know, right? That's the only thing we need. Ren Fair for bikers. Welcome to Hippie Killer 2019. We can get our ass kicked by someone.
Oh, come on.
I'm sure.
There's no real bikers here. We're just all in costume.
Yeah, pretty much. I just like to dress like a biker myself.
Yeah, in fact, Bob pushed
and
his bike
smell
over
like
here.
a biker. No offense, just kidding.
Yeah, I like to smell like a biker. I did just light a cigarette, got my coffee. I know Beulah was here, so I lit a cigarette.
Anything else? How are we doing?
Think.
What's going on? What's next for you?
Oh, for me?
Yes.
Well, we've been having a lot of fun sharing the message of story sharing.
Okay.
And that's what it's been about. How do we get the tale-tellers to tell their tales, be it podcast or be it writings? So we've had a few good writings come in, which is nice. I really enjoy editing them.
Mm-hmm.
I just posted one by one Miss Annette Dirth, the cross-country motorcycle rider.
I read that one.
She did
Tough son
really
of a bitch.
good. And and it's great to have it on. I was just in Cycle Source magazine this month. Mm-hmm. Got an article in there for American Roadrunner, which is a lot of fun. And, anytime you set out to do this, there's always, I want to say there's a level of vanity. And how much vanity are you into? Naturally, I race. I don't mind sharing my story of racing. And for me, it's how do I get other people to be okay with the idea of racing or pushing themselves, pushing their motorcycles. Curtis Morgan, ride 1K in a day. That's a lot tangible as opposed to the 3,000 miles I did in less than 2.5 days. That's a little above and beyond. So, yeah, it's kind of maniac. It's almost self-destructive, really. But doing it on a scoot that I put together, rebuilt, was extremely rewarding. So whatever the rewards may be for people with motorcycles, whether they want to wrench on them, whether they want to just ride on them. No.
Just ride. Just ride,
have a good time. And that's what it's about. You can do it any way you want, but so many people need to find that extra something in their lives. And for me, it just happens to be by the way of two wheels.
Yeah.
And expressing it through clicking away on most of my book I wrote on my phone, turning it into words. But I've learned that it's pretty uncool. Like, who the hell writes a book anymore these days? It's quite uncool. But I'm having a good time with it, as usual. As I do the most uncool racing in the
blazing your
room.
own trail.
Yeah.
Doing your thing. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think anybody needs to apologize for that.
That's a good one, too. That's right.
Just do it.
You just got to rock it and run with it.
Yeah.
You're so good. It's
cool,
so
man.
good to see you. You're the love of my life.
It's true. He wrote it in my book.
That's right. Right. Your copy of that book, American Roadrunner.
It's true.
It's so good to see you. Is Connie coming by or what?
I heard maybe with the kids later. Yeah, it'll be a family day for her. It's a lovely day to bring the kids out. Last year, not so much. It was like 9 million degrees, but this is a rad day.
This is above any expectation we could ever expect.
Yeah.
It's Southern California, though. It's usually pretty nice.
Yeah.
We got it blowing off. Beulah, thanks for stopping by, darling.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Okay, bye.
Bye.
We did it.
And also with you.
And also with you.
Very very excited. Nice and excited.
Welcome back to the Hippie Killer at the Perris Fairgrounds. We have a very special guest here right now. Bob, would you like to introduce our guest?
I'm absolutely sure it can't get much more special than this. We'd like to welcome one Mr. Bomonster, creative artist, talent,
Yay.
and the man who puts up with the immature, amateur efforts of myself.
Special, did you say?
Very,
I
very,
feel very special now.
Bo, good to have you here.
Thank you. Good
How's
to be here.
Yeah, how's the show going for you?
Show's great. Show's
Yeah.
great. I like selling my stuff, of course, but just talking to people who create and paint and weld and ride. It's fun.
Yeah.
I really get inspired just being here.
What did you get to unleash some new art lately on the world?
People always want to know what's new.
Yeah.
So I always feel obligated to have something new.
Other than American Roadrunner.
That's almost the newest thing I've done.
That's
really,
cool.
That's really true. But yeah, part of being here is sales is important.
Yeah.
And if I judge a good show by good sales and inspiration, creativity,
Cool.
the people I talk to, the contacts I make. So this is one of those shows that operates on all 4 or 5 cylinders. It's a good show.
Yeah, well
By
said.
any measure.
Well, and it's nice that there's cars as well as bikes, because you're not just out etching all the cool inspirational art of our generation for bikes. It's cars as well.
Yeah, are you talking about me?
I'm talking about you.
Very important.
A whole
Sounds very
generation
impressive.
of us will
It's
remember
true.
Bomonster's art.
Everybody likes everything. I'm finding out because I would come out here to a hot rod show and I'd have some bikes, dirt bikes, choppers, and people would buy it. I go to a chopper show and people buy hot rods, and I go to a hot rod show or custom car show and people are buying VW bugs and vans and trucks. The subject of the art that I do. And it just made me realize that it's wide open in terms of what I want to create, what I want to scratch in my case. But everybody likes everything, which is cool.
Yeah. Well, I've been having a lot of fun because I'm under the impression some people might just buy my book because your artwork's on it.
They do buy the book by the cover.
Right.
You
They're
can judge this
that's
book
right.
by the cover.
You can.
Right?
It's got some great art.
And
Well,
people think that they're opening it to see a Bomonster coloring book, and they're very dissatisfied when
They're
they see
actually words.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny. I like the book. I read it too, by the way. I dug it.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
great.
that
It's there
was
to be
quite an
read.
honor. I think you read it in like 2 days. I mean, you were flying.
Yeah, I don't usually read that fast.
Yeah,
but
you
I
were-
got absorbed into it.
All
Well,
87,000 words.
You sent me like maybe chapter 1.
Yeah.
Because when you asked me to consider creating the art for the cover, I wasn't sure, but when you sent me the book, then I was sure.
Nice,
So that
nice.
was fun. That was a lot of fun for me.
Well, that was a lot of good inspiration, and I don't mind telling the story about it. I had needed artwork, and so I kind of put it out to a few local artists that I knew were tattoo artists, like, hey, I'm looking for this, maybe something like that. And then eventually you just kind of get to the place where you go, I'm just going to shoot for the stars. And I've got all this guy's art in my bedroom, throughout my house, whatever. I'm just going to ask this guy named Bo. And so I remember I just sent you an email and said, hey, I'm doing this. Would you be interested? And you went, yeah, well, that sounds cool. Yeah, send me. And then you sent me this rough draft, and I went, oh, man, I don't care what this takes. I need to get this. I need to have this man's my new best friend. And anyways, you've been very generous. I have to tell people. I mean, there's been many times I've called you thinking, oh, I'm going to just call Bo and ask him this quick question, and 2 hours later we're still on the phone like a
Yeah.
bunch of old ladies.
No, good conversations we have. But yeah, most artists are real flaky. We like talking about the art, but
Yeah.
actually doing the art,
yeah.
it helps having a deadline. It helps having an author, in this case, with a book that's done. So
Yeah.
I put a little bit of the pressure back on to deliver something kind of cool. And I liked your story, so
Well, and I remember I had to do the final edit, and you were like, okay, well, I've got the artwork ready. So as soon as you get that final edit and get me the actual, I think we were waiting for the spine thickness. There's so much production that goes into this.
well,
And
I thought I had a deadline.
Yeah,
so
right.
That's what got me. That's what got me.
Now, Mr.
motivated.
Bomonster, I'm really interested in your creative process. Now,
Oh, yeah.
I did hear Bob mention etching, and looking at your artwork, it does look a little different than all the other stuff out there. But then when I heard about your process, I was fascinated. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
My art is the medium is scratch board, and I'm scratching with a knife on a black ink board. And a lot of people will tell me that they did a piece of scratchboard in high school art class. And
I
that's
did.
actually...
I did, yeah.
That was my story too. People will tell me they did one and they liked it and they never did another one and they still have it. I honestly hear that a lot.
Yeah.
And that's my story. And, you know, I was making white lines on a black computer screen once. And I thought that looks like that scratchboard medium that we did in high school art class. And that got me interested because I always remember liking the effect and liking the look. I hadn't done it since then.
Right.
So I actually got a piece of scratchboard, did some motorcycles, did some hot rods, and did some, you know, kind of things. It's fun things that I liked. And posted it online at some art forums, and it was other artists and other people said, you got to develop this, you got to get this out in front of other people. So it's an old art form that was forgotten, and it's fun to bring it out and share it with people and to create it. So the process is it's a lot like a tattoo, where I spend a lot of the work, effort, a lot of the time rather, creating the design and then, you know, transferring just an outline shape to the board. And then I just start scratching, and I'm scratching in a way, I'm thinking about the way light hits objects and hits things and creates shadows. So I scratch where the light hits and I leave the shadows alone to try to keep it simple in my mind, my approach. But it's really, what I do is basically high school scratchboard. That's my medium.
Now, I'm going to get kind of wishy-washy and get all spiritual here. Now, some artists that do similar artwork talk about the artwork like it is something that's already there and they're just uncovering it like dinosaur bones. And then other artists talk about, no, this is exactly how it came out in their mind. What is your inspiration, and how do you see what your artwork looks like before you actually put it down? Does it develop as you do it?
Well, most of the work is put into the pre-planning of the actual scratchboard, for one thing. Conceptually, I love that you can go places on the motorcycle, places you can take the hot rod, where you can drive all these cool vehicles. And so I want to put them in situations and in scenarios and scenes that are just fun, you know? And so all my work, I want to bring a smile. I want people to appreciate the irony or the satire or the craziness of it. So there's plenty of good people that can do, plenty of good artists that can do a well-drafted piece of art. Mine is not well-drafted. I'm getting better at it because I do, you know, 1 or 2 a week and just stay in practice. But what I'm finding is my line quality is getting better and better, and some of the pieces I'll do look so realistic, like a reflection in glass or metal or whatever. I'll be impressed that I did that my hands created that, but I think, wait a minute, that's not my goal. My goal is not to do something realistic and lifelike. I want it to look like almost like a kid in high school did it who could draw really, really good. I want it to have character and be light. I don't use any straight edges or tools to do it. It's all freehand. But my approach really is I want to bring a smile.
Okay, that's very cool. So I think you answered my next question, which I was going to say, like, do you use a model, or do you look at a picture and then kind of do your picture modeled after that? But it sounds like you just go from what's in your head, right?
You know, it's funny when we're on the phone, and I do this a lot with Bob because he talks so much when he calls me. But I make notes, like little small thumbnails in the margin of a scratch. You know, it's a little piece of paper. I'll make a little note on a margin, and I save them. I've got a file of small drawings, a big file of small drawings.
That's great.
And then when I get in a rhythm, or I just start thinking about, you know, deserts or beaches or highways or bikes or chopper, whatever the subject is that I start thinking about, I'll look through my file and I'll remember, I had a cop behind a billboard. I want to check that. You know, I have these ideas, and then I start creating the design from that small thumbnail. I'll redraw it, and oftentimes that small thumbnail had a character about it that I really liked. Perspective, composition, and I can't recreate it by really thinking about it. So I'll take the small thumbnail, blow it up larger, and it'll be pixelated and it'll look bad, small to big. But then I can redraw it based on the original thumbnail that was small. So then from there, like I say, I'll tighten it up and kind of get it to where I like it, and I transfer just the outline shape to the board.
Yeah, I know. I was really impressed how it went from, I think what you originally sent me, to everything. And I think that was the big trick, that I really needed a friend in what I was doing, because I've got no artistic backbone. I can't draw. I can't, let alone conceive what you do. So obviously I'm such a big fan. I own many of your lithographs and shirts and whatever else. But
thank you for supporting an emerging artist. I've said many times to Bob Marshall.
Well, it looks really good around the house next to all my motorcycle parts. I kind of
And you know what? If I can comment about your art and the book, it's interesting that your artwork is like the closest depiction of Americana, in recent history.
Amen.
And then the book is called American Roadrunner, and they complement each other so well because they celebrate, life, liberty, and the American way. And I hope people recognize that and want to absorb that your artwork, the motorcycle, the book, everything is about the American culture and what should be celebrated about us.
I think Americana is a good description. My work has a real 60s vibe to it.
Yes.
And it's like Jim Phillips and Grateful Dead and Ed Roth and Stanley Mouse and Rick Griffin.
Agreed.
I mean, I love all that old album art, and I love everything from that time period. And for myself, being a little bit late to the party, I've only been at this for 7 years, really. And so when I got here, a lot of the artists, or even at the show, were here when I got here, and they had already established styles and subject matter.
Right.
Which is good, because when you see what's already been done and done well, to do something else and be original.
Yeah.
And so, why be the next guy that draws monsters driving cars? There are a lot of other guys that do that really, really well. So don't be the next guy drawing monsters driving cars. So for me, it was like finding my own, what I like, that whole 60s vibe, like I say, and then of course scratching it gave it a different kind of a look.
Well, and you've got to have, maybe 150 different cars and scenes. I wouldn't even, maybe 200. I don't even. It's
from my own personal library.
Yeah, how much work you've done, how much is on your website, how much I've seen your booth. Everything's original. Everything's. There's got to be 150 different scenes. There's something for everybody. That's for sure.
Well, in that case, when are we going to see a coffee table book by you? Something that's going to have a collection of a lot of your artwork that you can sell for $100 to all the hippies that we're killing
I'll take
at
one.
this
Can I
event.
get one?
Yeah, thanks for the pitch, Brian. I am working on
Awesome.
a book right now, as a matter of fact.
Good.
I'm working on one for myself, and my father, who's passed away, was also an artist, and I'm kind of going through all his work, and I'm scanning it and having a lot of fun writing about that, like hot rod stuff from the mid-'60s. He was like an animal, just dragsters and Willys gassers and the V8 motorcycles, like all this crazy stuff. So now I'm in kind of a book mode. I'm making 2 books right now.
That's great. Father figures are really important in everything we do.
Well, he also did a lot of riding. I know you've sent me some good old pictures of him. He was cruising around on the CX500. He was one of the, well, I think you'd say somewhat original on-road, off-road, do sport type guys.
He passed away. It was at 84 in 2015, and like the month before, as always, he'd go to the desert.
Yeah.
His little Honda CRX, a little 3-rail trailer, single rail trailer.
Yeah.
And ride around the desert, a little like 125 Kajiva, and long gray beard, and
great.
just out there, and he'd take a sandwich and a thermos of coffee by himself.
Right.
And that was my dad. He was a rider, and
that's
just,
so cool.
Just loved it. Yeah.
I get so excited.
Yeah.
I get so excited hearing those stories. Hang on, we got an old 45 cruising by.
Nice.
What's your favorite vehicle to draw?
It's hard to have a favorite. It's like walking around, and I can get into Model A's, and I can get into 32 Fords, I can get into 51 Chevys, I can get into 64 Impalas, I can get into 50 Fords, and it really I like it all, to be honest with you.
So I guess the better question is, what have you not done yet that you're looking forward to edging? What model car would you like to do next?
Well, it's funny. I did some trains recently. Trains in the
that's
desert
right,
are
that's
awesome.
right. That's some
just
next
like
level
Super
shit.
Chiefs and like those original, steam locomotives that built the West. And so I'm probably more into trains right now than anything. But
you can always do speeders too. Those small little. Do you know what a speeder is? So my dad was into these things called speeders, and the old maintenance guys on the tracks used to use them. So if you think of a train that happens to be a little smaller than a Volkswagen Bug, that's what a speeder is.
Is it
and
that
they're
thing
little
with the
boxy.
teeter-totter thing that they have to
Well,
like
instead
push
they
back
have
and
like
forth?
3-cylinder diesel engines,
Okay.
and they just cruise along a few miles an hour. So the maintenance
Did
guys
they
could
run
repair-
the
Oh yeah,
tracks?
oh
and
yeah, they run right
maintain
on the track.
tracks
Yeah,
that way? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah. And you could get like little cars to pull behind. So he was in like a speeder club, and you know, one of those crazy things my dad was into. But they're really square and boxy and ugly as sin. So I don't know how you draw them and make them look cool. But I'll have to send you some photos of them. They're pretty funny. Well, we sure are excited about the books coming out. It'll be nice to have a good collection of your artwork all in one place.
Well, it fits, you know, and part of my strategy as an artist to get my stuff out in the world, I want my art on up and coming bands. I want my art on up and coming car clubs, you know, up and coming companies, and a book, you know, that you wrote, that you self-published, that you're putting out there on your own. I really appreciate that. So it's like connecting my art to new things and new emerging things is really my strategy and my goal right now. And just it's kind of fun to ride everybody else's wave, basically.
Yep.
So
Yeah, well, I've learned too, it takes time. I mean, it takes time to get your story out there and get your art out there in your case, and you've been at it quite a while. so-
Definitely a market out there for book covers. I mean, so many people do, you know, the graphic design on the computer, and, you know, I think that that's something new that a lot of people would appreciate. That's awesome.
Well, and there was a lot of creativity behind my book cover, if I may be so vain. The Roadrunner's got a wonderful lizard in its mouth, which is always positive.
Yeah.
Everything about my motorcycle he captured absolutely to the T. I like that I'm built as I'm built, the protagonist of it. I couldn't imagine myself ever looking so good. My mother was extremely impressed, by the way. She thought, boy. But my favorite, of course, is all the bullshit I'm leaving on the road flying off the back.
And you know what? I'm into symbolism, so I try to pick apart every single thing coming out the back of your bike, and what does that mean to Bob? Huh? Why is that chainsaw there? Why is that dead fish there?
Right.
it's all about survival, and it's always all about, you know, there's always somebody faster than you, too. I think I had that in mind when I was
There were so
printing.
many people faster than me. That's a funny thing about writing this book, is that there are people who are absolutely much faster than me. I am nowhere near the best. I just enjoy showing up, having a good time, and competing. In this case, you know, racing chopper cross country, and, you know, less
Enjoy
than 2.5
the view.
days. Yeah, enjoying the view. Trying to work through being tired. How much coffee can my body handle? How can I? Anyways, you captured it wonderfully, my friend. I couldn't be
They
more
work well
excited about it.
together, I gotta say. I'm really proud of it.
Well, and you got the new artwork out as well that we were just able to release at this show. The new American Roadrunner protagonist symbol coming out of the page on that sticker and such.
Right.
Man, it looks really good. That was terribly exciting. My most exciting part is, I think you sent this to me maybe a month and a half ago, and we were kind of keeping it under wraps until you finished it up, and I said, you know, I got to tell you, Bo, sometimes I write stuff across the knuckles of my gloves so I know they're my gloves, and I bet you American would fit across this protagonist glove here, and you did it.
Yeah.
I actually did something freaking creative, and it worked out. I'm not used to that. I'm used to just leaving all that up to Bo, so. No, I'm really
I don't
excited
care where
about
good
that.
ideas come from. I steal them from anybody.
Steal them, take them.
Well, for everybody listening at home, where can they find your artwork if they want to look at it as they're checking out this interview?
Check out Bomonster.com. I'm on Instagram, The Bomonster. I'm on Facebook, The Bomonster. But the website is the full library, the full gallery of my art right now.
That's great. And the book coming out soon, forward by Mr. Bob Marshall.
I'm excited about the book too. So.
Yeah, well, it's nice that your website will have my book on it very soon as well. I'm pretty excited about that. We have actually, Bo and I have a few other exciting things we've been talking about. We're not ready to be public about yet, but soon enough.
All right.
I'm very fortunate enough to call this man my friend. Cool. Lucky us. How's it feel to sponsor a podcast?
Am I a sponsor?
Oh, by the way.
Did you say that?
Oh, yeah. Every single podcast we mention you.
Oh, we mentioned the heck out of you. Well, we're big fans.
Well,
so
it's kind of
helps.
funny sitting here talking, all these people wheeling by and rocking by, and
What the heck are those
motorcycles
people
passing
doing?
and hot rods in the background, and so this is a little different, and I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we're having a good time. We appreciate your good stories and, of course, your good art, Mr. Bo. We'll let you get back to your booth.
Well, I see some people in my booth. I got customers.
That's
now.
right. Get at it.
Customers before friends.
That's right. We'll see you, brother.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Bo. That was awesome.
All right, let's rock and roll.
Very excited. One Miss Candy 1200. Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
You've won the award.
For 7-day-old baby at a
That's right.
motorcycle show.
That's right. More importantly, a baby who's not mine. So that's
There you
really
go.
exciting. Yes, so one Miss Harley.
Harley June.
Wow, you did really good.
Thank you,
I'm not
thank
going to lie,
you.
she's real pretty and looks nothing like me.
And she doesn't look like me either. She looks like her dad.
She looks just like her dad, and that's pretty exciting. So I happen to have just signed a book
Yes.
for y'all, but you had me make it out to her.
Yes. I'll read it to her at nighttime.
There you go. You might want to skip chapter 8, chapter 12. We'll just
Okay.
skip some of it. You'll
All right.
know
I'll read a little before.
Read a little before.
There
Some
you
of
go.
it may be E-rated, which
All
is
right.
explicit in our world term.
Yes.
So you ready to get back on a motorcycle?
I'm actually on a motorcycle now.
Really?
My
You threw
sister-
Harley on the back? Or?
No, my sister brought her and I rode in.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I
You just
did.
gave birth 7 days ago.
Oh wow.
Holy fuck. Stampede approved. Rocks. High five.
Right, high five.
Jesus,
This
lady.
Springer is a comfortable ride.
Yeah. That's, I mean, I don't even know. I've never given birth myself, but
I'm good.
you're good.
As long as I can keep it up, then I'm good.
So you had a good ride in.
Yes. We don't live very far, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing. We were just hanging out 2 weeks ago, and
I know.
you were as big as me then.
I was ready to pop. I was over it. She
Yeah.
was over it. She came 3 weeks early, so I think she was ready to come to Hippie Killer.
She was ready to get. That's great.
So did you take a break from riding a motorcycle while you were pregnant?
I stopped riding at about 4 months.
Okay.
And then from 4 to 9, I just chilled.
Yeah.
And just missed my bike every day.
Yeah.
And
there you
now
go.
I'm back on, and actually I want to start flat track racing, so I'm getting my
Perfect.
bike ready.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome. What do you ride on the street, and what do you ride when you flat track race?
I have a 94 Soft House Springer
Okay.
that I ride, and a 76 Yamaha dirt bike.
Cool. Are those the only 2 bikes you ride?
Yeah, for now.
For now.
For now, give
I
it
want
time.
a Dyna.
Yeah,
That's
one
my
leads to
next
2 and
bike.
2 leads to too many. That's
Yeah,
what I hear.
exactly.
Yeah.
I need something for long distance now. I don't trust the Springer.
I can't believe how your sister cruised out with your baby.
She's
for
my
you.
chase vehicle.
Yeah, right. Gotta drive chase. She's all smiling. She brought her daughter. You got the whole family.
I
here.
do have the whole family.
You're
It's a
rocking it.
family affair, right?
Apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad. I got to buy a few cookies from your niece a little while ago.
There you go.
Your sister
She's
was
a
kind
cutie.
enough to
She's gonna
deliver.
ride one day too,
Let's hope so.
right?
Let's freaking hope so. So when are you gonna start flat track racing? Let's get down to the numbers. Think of next year?
The only one this year. The only
this
one
year.
that you can practice on is Milestone.
Well, there's Milestone, there's Perris.
But Perris
there's-
says they don't let you practice
Oh,
on
really?
it.
Oh,
It's
okay.
only
I don't.
when-
Yeah, I just hit a Milestone myself because I'm right there. But
Yeah, I heard it's a little too pebbly for
you gotta
beginners.
work around it all and just have a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where we were when Miss Connie over there, Connie and Al are here. When Miss Connie with Girl on a Moto crashed right in front of me and I almost ran her ass over.
on flat track.
Yeah, we
Try?
were Milestone. Yeah. She was on my that Rebel that I'll usually set up to race cross country, that little Honda Rebel.
Oh, yeah,
And I was
yeah.
on my other Rebel right behind her, and she crashed in front of me, and boy, I got real close.
Yeah.
There's nothing scarier than almost running your friend over who's on your bike. Yeah. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Not only am I running my own bike over, but I'm running my dear friend Connie over.
There you go.
at the
That
same
would
time.
that would totally suck.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh.
I do want to get out there soon. I just need new tires.
Yeah, well, take your
Yeah.
time with it. Figure out what you like. That's
Yeah.
the fun. You're gonna have baby stuff to pay for a little while too.
I know,
that
right?
kind of adds up. We'll have to get your sister in as crew chief,
It's like
aka
diapers
babysitter.
or flat track tires right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, it can
I think
be.
she'll be all right. In
Wait till you
like
need
some
to change
cloth.
oil. But just let her run around the track naked. She'll
There
be
you
fine.
go, she'll
It all
be
works
alright.
in. I can't believe she's asleep and comfortable and not
She's-
yelling and screaming.
Nope, she's used to it already. We have her already in the garage starting the bikes up,
Good.
letting
good.
her breathe in that 2-stroke. Just kidding.
Nice. Right. Get her used to it. Well, she's a cute one.
Thank you. I
Well on
appreciate
you.
it.
So come Christmas, baby gonna get the little Harley leather vest and
Oh,
everything.
God. Like her dad.
Hey, yeah.
Since she looks like him.
But they grow out of them so fast, so you got to get the ones that like expand with the zippers.
There
and
you
stuff
yeah, with
them.
the with the little
Nice.
ties on
Nice.
the side.
Yep.
Nice. Well, I'm just excited to see the baby seat on the back of the flat track bike and
There
you're
you
hauling
go.
ass around the corners.
I'm excited. You might have to watch her in the pits for me.
Oh, I'm in. Oh, yeah. Me and babies, we get along well. They may scream the whole time, but
There you go.
I'm used to that. No, I've had 2. My baby days are over, so I'm always excited when there are
Yes.
other people's
What's
babies
funny is they
around.
raised him, though.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, probably.
I was so young when I had them.
Yeah.
Well, good on you. Thanks for stopping
Thank
saying
you.
hi.
Thank
Congrats.
you guys. Thank
you
you.
rock.
I appreciate
Rode
it.
a motorcycle, gave birth 7 days ago, brought the 7-year-old as well, 7-day-old as well.
Yep.
Jeez, you're rocking it.
Thank you. I feel good.
To be admired.
Thank you. Thank you.
So if anybody wants to follow you, what's your Instagram handle, Facebook, anything like that you want to promote?
Instagram is Candy1200.
Awesome.
Facebook I don't really get on anymore.
Me
Yeah.
neither. Stay away from that stuff.
Exactly.
It's toxic.
Well,
It is.
Above all, tell us what you think of the book you just bought.
I'm super
Some
excited
type
to
of
read it.
American Road Running. You always read a review.
Yes.
I'm always pimping out my review. Hey, feel free to leave a review. An honest
I will
review.
for sure. I will.
You
I've got
rock
5
on.
weeks off from work, so I'll make sure I read it.
Nice. Good on you. Thanks
Thank
again,
you.
Candice.
Thank you.
As usual, we got motorcycles blaring by. We don't like to put exhaust on it. You know what that is? I think that's an old VT Honda 700. I got
see
one
it
of
a
those
lot.
in the backyard.
I see that bike a lot, and I like seeing it every time.
Yeah, he's got to put in a ratchet frame too. Good for him. Keep it simple, stupid. KISS. Kyle, good to see you, Kyle.
What's up, Bob?
Good to have you on. So I'm actually really excited. Kyle happens to be a friend we met through our buddy Reed, Max Speed Cycles. And Kyle is one of those young, inventive types who built a nice skateboard holder for your Sportster.
Yeah, I'm always building stuff for my bike. I do that. It makes me feel better if I did it myself.
Yeah. Well, I think the answer is the mother of invention, the necessity of it. Tell me about it. Your skateboard holder.
Skateboard holder? I don't know. I just wanted something that I don't always like to have my board on my bike, but I try to keep those things one or the other. But if
Yeah.
I ever need to have my board, I got a way to put it on there, and it works really good.
Oh,
Adjusting my mic real fast.
There you go.
Feels pretty cool.
Yeah, but it locks on there, doesn't it?
It locks with a vice grip.
Right, okay.
So vice grip, there's a mount on the starter,
Right.
on the left side on the starter little channel right there, and I just welded up something with a angle iron and stuff like that, and then the board straddles back and the vice grip pinches the tail so it can't go nowhere.
Nice.
It's really cool. I like the way it looks.
Yeah, well, and it feels good too. I'm sure you know your board's secure.
It was just an idea. I hadn't seen anyone do that, and I just tried it out, and it came together, and it works. I like it.
it's
Yeah,
an awesome idea. I haven't seen it myself, but you know, I always joke around with whenever people come on the podcast and they talk about breaking down or running out of gas. I'm like, oh, well, what about your spare tire? You know, if you get a blowout, just put that spare tire on. Well, that's basically
that'll be my
what
next
you
thing.
got.
That'll be my next thing. I got a spare tire. It's just a skateboard.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. So if you ever break down, you got
I
your
love it.
skateboard there. That's the backup plan. Always got to have a backup plan.
Yeah, it's a pretty
one.
good one. You just built a new sissy bar too, right?
You saw that?
I saw that, yeah.
I did. I'm super happy on it.
I was a little impressed.
Thanks. It came out really good. Another thing where I just tried to do it, and it came out. Came out right, and I'm happy about that one too.
Good for you. Well, and you have a bit of youth to you.
Yeah.
How old are you? 16?
Trying to use it up
17?
as much as I can. No, I might look that old, but I'm 31.
31. Rocking it out.
Mm-hmm.
Good on you, Kyle.
Still got a lot of time in front of you. A
Yeah.
lot of time to invent new things. You know, when the hover cycle comes out, we're gonna have to figure out something.
I'll be looking at that. Sounds cool.
Put your hoverboard with the hover cycle on a mount.
That'll be a good one.
Heck yeah.
Kyle, thanks for stopping by, sir.
Heck yeah.
That was pretty harmless.
Harmless.
Kyle didn't want to go on
Good
the
times.
podcast. but we
I
got
was a
him
little
talked into
nervous.
it.
Like getting
This mic
vaccinated.
setup is pretty cool looking. Looks
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, we got it all legged off of the
It's
old
like a big
milk crate
spider
here.
on the table.
Exactly.
Listening to you.
Exactly. Mike's going all over this poor milk
Necessity
crate.
is the mother of invention, so that's why we got
Amen.
the spider mount for our
Amen,
microphones.
brother. That's
Yeah.
good shit. Thanks again, Kyle.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Awesome, man.
That was fun.
we've got faces for podcasting. Is that what you're saying, Becky?
Yes, most definitely.
Faces for podcasting. We're real excited. We got one Miss Becky Tarts on with us right about now.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah. Enjoying the show?
Always. It's I don't listen to any podcasts, but I listen to yours.
You mentioned that the other day. That's really exciting. What's that about?
I'm going to stop you right there. You can't touch the mic, all right?
Oh, is she making noise on the mic?
I didn't.
Tracy's going,
Oh, is it making noise? Oh,
I didn't touch it.
No, it's okay. It's the slightest little vibrations will make it. Sorry about that.
All right.
You're not the first. I hit the last person who did that, so you're good. All right.
I'll hit you back.
So no podcast, but you listen to this one.
I do. I listen to this one.
Wow, that's pretty exciting. Do you have a favorite episode you heard?
Well, I've listened to I told you I listened to all of them that day.
Oh,
and
cool.
that was not up yet.
Yeah.
And then, but it was the one. Oh, well, of course the A's are always fun.
The A's are always fun. Yeah, we just had one Miss Autumn on earlier, so that was pretty cool. Okay, enough about me. Let's talk about you. The goodness of Becky Tarts.
The goodness.
What do you want? The goodness of. You enjoy riding a little bit, similar to myself.
Yeah, what do you ride?
I ride a 2018 Classic Heritage Softail Classic.
Nice.
And it is beautiful.
Because you had a little issue with your Sportster a while back.
I did. I loved my Sportster. 2014 1200 Sportster Custom. Beautiful, beautiful bike. We traveled over 70,000 miles together in almost 4 years.
Then it blew up in the middle of Texas on you.
Yeah, well, it was my own fault, and I miss it. So I sigh every time, but it's all right because really my Sportster wasn't designed to be putting on the kind of miles I want to do. Yeah, it wasn't set up though.
Yeah, you look good you look comfortable. You look good on it, like you were having a good time.
I loved it.
Yeah.
From Heritage is wonderful. Having a good time with that.
I might share a bit more of that story. You were in, what part of Texas were you in again?
Okay, what started it is my first cross-country ride. And I went from here to Charlotte, North Carolina for my niece's graduation.
Right.
And I decided this like a week before her graduation. So I told my boss, I'm like, look, I could fly, but the flights are really expensive. So a less expensive way is for me to, and more exciting, is for me to ride my motorcycle cross country.
Jump on a scoot and hit the road.
So I left Tuesday, and all I kept saying was, I got to be there by Friday at 4, which was the graduation.
Nice.
So I had 2.5 days to make it to Charlotte, and I'd never gone cross country before. So it was an experience. Had a great time. Ran through rain pretty much the entire time on the 40 until like the Arkansas border.
Yeah.
Arkansas-Tennessee border, I think it was. And it stopped raining finally. And made it to the graduation. Dropped down to Atlanta for the International Female Ride Day in Atlanta last year.
That's right.
Got to hang out with my beautiful biker friends and Black Girls Ride friends.
Yeah.
And then I was on a quest to get 24 states. So I'd up to that point when I left, I'd only had like 14, I think. And so I needed, or 15, so I needed 9 more states.
Nice.
So I picked up those by going down to Florida and then across to, my last state was Louisiana. Got to my 24 states, so
nice.
half the continental United States on a motorcycle.
Yeah, that was the idea. You wanted to hit half of them. Okay, little personal challenge.
It was a starting goal.
Very cool.
I needed that for my Have Iron Will Travel patch.
Right. Okay. Have Iron Will Travel.
Facebook group. Fun.
So then you were coming back and you ended up blowing up the motorcycle in. What town was that?
No, so I laid it down.
Oh, you laid it down.
Outside of New Orleans.
Right.
I was all victorious, but I freaked myself out on a dark road in the back roads of New Orleans.
Right.
Or Memphis, Louisiana, whatever.
Yeah.
But the bike, like, we went sliding 20 foot down the road because I didn't slow down enough for a turn. But it started up right away, no problem. I couldn't, my engine guard had gotten where it messed up my shift down my foot. What is that? Shift lever at the bottom?
Shift lever, yeah.
And so I had to have it towed to Baton Rouge.
Right.
And I get to Baton Rouge, and they get me out the door. The dealership there was awesome. Got me up and running by 5 o'clock the next day.
Yeah.
I was putting down the road 500 miles later and outside of, where's the Alamo?
Yeah.
San Antonio, right?
San Antone.
Yeah.
San Antone, Texas.
Outside of San Antonio, Texas.
What was your favorite place along the way on that trip?
You know, I was just trying to get there and get back.
You didn't even like look.
Yeah, you know, that's the problem. You know, when you're going quickly across the country,
Yeah.
you don't really have time to stop and enjoy anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be a downfall.
You know, so my favorite part was when I saw my niece with her graduation, the little board that they have to wear, right?
Oh, that's
and they all
cool.
decorate them. And she said, "Thanks, Unc." And that's my husband.
Oh.
and he passed away right before I bought my Sportster. He passed away in February of 2014. And so to be there in his place and see her walk across to get her nursing certificate was awesome. So that was my most favorite
That's good.
view.
Yeah.
That makes it all
Yeah.
worth
That
it.
road, yeah.
Good reason to hit the open road.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's good. Look at you.
So,
that's
that's what I
happy
did.
stuff. Good for you.
My first
Good for you.
cross-country ride.
Yeah, yeah.
I made it to the other side, and I made it halfway home.
Halfway home. Well, and I'm gonna cheer it up just for a second. And that was the funny part. I remember I don't know if you texted me or called me, and I said, "Where are-"
Ozona, Texas.
You said, "I'm in Ozona." I go, "Okay, here's what you do: walk down the road, hit up
Yes.
this great little Mexican place called Pepe's,
Yes.
and have some freaking lunch, and you'll get your head straight." And then I think you messaged me
did.
back going, "Wow, how'd
a
you know
good
this
choice.
place was here?" I might have been through there a few times, so yeah, Ozona, Texas.
I
It's
think
kinda,
you specified that it was because another Harley person you knew had broke down in Ozona.
yeah. But I've stopped at Pepe's a few times. That's a nice little. I like their little built-in patio that they got there. You can sit on and
It's
enjoy,
beautiful.
and it's
Yeah.
all air conditioned, which is very important in somewhere like Ozona, Texas.
Middle of nowhere.
Yeah, but Dale kicked ass and
He
jumped in
did.
his truck and
And brought me and my bike home.
drove all the way to Ozona, Texas to bring you and your bike home.
Oh,
And what a great trip.
It
Great
was
story.
awesome.
I was so proud of you. That was pretty good. So, got the new scoot.
I did.
Got some fancy pinstriping. One Mr. Al Geezy put on there for you. Our
Yes,
good friend
sir.
Al. Boy, that guy does some good paint work. Looks really good. And right about now, you've been busy doing some other good things.
Just riding my motorcycle. That's what I do.
Not just riding it. You just did a ride 1K a day with your dude, right? Or you did a...
Oh, in October.
Yeah.
My 14-year-old son is
that's right.
an official Iron Butt Association member holder.
IBA 1000, right?
Yeah.
What is the iron butt for people who don't know?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's a few different ways to do it, but the answer is I think the Iron Butt Association, the IBA, they've been doing it longer than others. And they've got a few good challenges you can put under your belt. And I know every other year they do a pretty treacherous cross country as well. And for them, it's all points. How much can you ride and get X amount of points for where you've ridden, different things like that.
Is it similar to like ride 1K in a day or?
Yeah, only on crack and older.
Oh.
I would say, you know what? I would say the IBA is like the Facebook if Ride 1K in a day was Instagram. That's the difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good comparison.
IBA's been around a long time. Those guys do a lot of exciting good things, and they really get people out there to do the miles. And your son happens to be an IBA 1000
Yeah,
holder.
he's a saddle sore.
Yeah, that's pretty
Saddle
good.
sore holder.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Actually, you can do the Ride 1K in a day and the saddle sore together because
Yeah,
the
that's
car's
true.
basically the same paperwork. That's what I did. Curtis was awesome.
Yeah, Curtis is awesome
Curtis
like
was
that.
awesome.
Mr. Curtis Morgan. You hear that? We're telling you, you're awesome.
You're
That's
super
good.
awesome. And yeah, so you can do both of them together. But with IBA, then you have like other rides to do as well.
Okay.
Right.
So that's where the difference is. It's like on steroids.
On
basically.
steroids, yeah. Yeah,
Different types of riders.
they do good stuff. Well, you're out here today volunteering in the Abate booth.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
local 27
Nice. You got the shirt on.
I
You were
just-
hanging out over in our Abate booth.
this morning. Yeah, I did some promos, handed out flyers for people.
Very
Hopefully
cool.
to come to the ride next weekend.
Yeah, Bare Necessities run. It's going to be an exciting one.
Don't forget your underwear.
Don't forget to bring clean, unused
Oh yeah,
underwear.
that part.
Yeah.
Lots of thongs. That's our running joke, is bring thongs.
Exactly. Apparently.
Kelsey's got
17.
a lot of them.
17 different pairs. That's great. Well, Becky, we appreciate all you do.
Thank you for
But
having
more
me.
so, I really am a big fan of the way you ride, and I think it's great. You can just jump on a scoot, hit the open road, not worry about anything else, whether you're riding around with other people or not. Good on you. You're having a good time.
Yeah, I look forward to coming on again and
Yeah.
telling about how you morally supported me.
Oh yeah.
There's many trips along the way.
Yep. The road goes on forever, and the party never ends.
Yeah.
Thanks, Becky.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Just to make sure we got the day as exciting as human fuckingly possible, one Miss Connie's on with us. Hi, Connie.
Hi, Bob.
My dear friend Connie. Are we excited? Connie happens to host my favorite podcast called Girl on a Moto.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I know it's
Thanks for
always
being
weird,
here.
right? Do you feel that way where you're like, well, I'm a host, but then you're a host. Who's
Right.
the co-host
Yeah.
here? Maybe on some episodes you're the co-host, and
Yeah.
maybe sometimes I let Beulah take the lead, so then maybe she's the host on that episode.
I think
don't
we're
know.
going to have to
Is
we're
it,
going to
like,
have to come up with a new
politically
term,
correct
like instead of provost president, we're going to be pro-host. Hello, I am the pro-host. This is Brian, the pro-host. Like, you're doing it absolutely equal together.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet, but I know we got a whole new set of terms we get to put together for podcasting.
Yeah.
Because none of the radio terms, none of the TV terms work. Although you do very well on TV. Me, not so much. I've got a face for podcasting, but
I have been on TV before.
yeah. Good.
Yeah, I'm sure people know that though. So.
Yeah. Seems appropriate. Sorry I missed it.
Oh, it's on reruns all the time. That's when I know that it's on reruns because I get texts
What?
like, "Is this you on?"
What were you doing? Were you doing commercials or something?
I was actually on an episode of Botched. It's on the E Network.
Okay.
It's a pretty popular show.
Uh-huh.
One of the doctors is like the doctor from The Real Housewives.
Uh-huh.
So he was my doctor, and
Okay.
I had surgery on the show. And
Wow. So you're in a
Yeah.
hospital gown, half naked,
yeah,
laying
they
in a-
actually had to blur some stuff out, but like they put a leech on my nip. I know
Wow.
that sounds crazy.
Wow.
I think you guys are getting a really more exciting story than
That's
you thought you were
right.
going to
Welcome
get.
to the American Roadrunner
Yeah,
Nothing
podcast.
to do with motorcycles.
That's
but-
great.
So, that show, you have to be botched, quote unquote.
Yeah,
So what's the issue then? I mean, you look
Um,
fine. You look
Yeah,
great.
well, everyone said that. They'll be like, but you're fine. I'm like, well, you guys aren't seeing me naked. But when I was like 21 years old, I bartended at a strip club. And I actually come from like all my family, the women are like really big breasted, but I wasn't. I remember being like teased in high school, and a girl was like, oh, there she goes, part of the itty bitty titty committee.
Wow.
And
Ouch.
so working around a bunch of strippers, mind you, I wasn't a stripper, I was the bartender, but like I was like, well, I'm gonna get a boob job. I wanted one, but my mom at the time was battling breast cancer. So she definitely like advocated against it, but nobody listens to their parents, especially when you're 21 years old and you think you know everything. So I did it, and then like pretty soon after, like I noticed like something just not right with the right side, and then as time went on, it just got worse and worse. And I went to the doctors, did ultrasounds, did all the things, and they're like, basically, we can't tell you what's wrong. We see what you're seeing, but until we get in there and like actually take it out, we can't tell you what's wrong.
Yeah.
But we cannot put something back in because that's cosmetic surgery and not,
Yeah.
So I just kind of like stayed in this gray area until I one day was like watching TV before a soccer game, and I saw this show Botch, and I was like, oh, what's this? And because a guilty pleasure of mine used to be like the Real Housewives, and so I was like, that's Terry Dubrow. And then I figured out what the show was, and I said, fuck it, and I wrote them, and they picked me. They emailed me back that night, and it just kind of went on from there to where it was like they took over our lives for a little bit.
Sure.
My husband and the kids and everything, and all of it was the surgery, everything on camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, was your riding career and riding motorcycles?
I didn't ride motorcycles then. At
Is it?
all, yeah. I feel like it would have been, I would have I think they would have incorporated it too then.
Yeah.
You know, those E-Network and all that shit, they always try to
Gotta find an angle.
Yeah, they would have found an angle, but I didn't ride motorcycles then, so.
Yeah. Now, given that you do a lot of podcasting, so I had started doing a lot of podcasting, as I like to do a lot more writing. Are you going to start doing some writing?
I've always, I truly have always wanted to do that. When I was a lot younger, when I first even met my husband, you look at me like a lot younger, but everyone's like,
you're pretty young.
Yeah, you're not old.
Yeah.
But I wanted to write my own children's books and do my own illustrations because I like to draw, and that was kind of something I really liked doing, and I do my own little shit. But then you just and it sucks, and I hate that this happens to so many people. It happens to all of us, where you have these things that you loved doing that were for yourself, like writing or drawing, and then you get a real job, and then you get a family and kids, and then slowly but surely that time for those things just disappears.
Yeah.
So but my kids are getting a little bit older now. My youngest just turned 6, so I think maybe if I did want to write, I don't know that it would be motorcycle related. I think it would be I'm a big fan, my reading style that I like is domestic fiction.
Yeah.
Where it's housewife bullshit, or the husband cheats on the wife. Just that drama.
Smut. You like smut.
It's not smut.
It's better than stepbrother romance.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know if your listeners are familiar with the show Big Little Lies, but that was actually a book first, and the girl that I can't remember her name. I'm really bad with authors' names.
Yeah.
Emily Giffen is one of my favorite authors. The style of writing that she writes, that's one of my things. But the girl who did Big Little Lies, which was a fucking big hit HBO show, she writes books, and her stories are books before they become these awesome shows. But it's drama filled. It's still got the girly vibe. I still need that girly bullshit.
I feel you. I get it.
Girly, but not pink.
Well, if you do write, do you have a pen name in mind that you would go by so people don't know your real name? You got to think of that first.
No.
No.
It can't be a porno name. It's got to be a pen name.
Yeah.
What's an example of a pen name though?
You know what? Most pen names, at least the trend now.
So
is
Brian has a pen name for me. Let's hear it, Brian.
His pen name is Mob Barshall.
Mob Marshall?
Mob Barshall.
Oh God, I got it.
But no.
Not very creative.
But you're
names,
supposed to.
It's usually the two initials and then a last name. So if it was my pen name, I'd be H.K. Phillipson III.
Oh, okay.
So
or the H.K. Rowling's thing.
Yes, exactly. J.K. Rowling. Yeah, there's a few out there that two initials and then a last name.
Yeah, it works. Keeps it easy. That way, it's really just the last name.
C.M. DiBartola.
Ooh, that sounds great.
Yeah, everyone would know you as DiBartola. Really. That'd be a good one.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good way to get it out. Although you do some drawing as well, don't you?
I still draw a lot, and I still paint. I really used to love oil on canvas, but I'm really impatient. Patience is not one of my virtues. So I started dabbling with acrylics just because it dries faster, and then I can move on to the next and not worry about it smudging and But still, I don't get to do that stuff as much as I would like to. I mean, even with podcasting, I'm sure you guys have learned that and you have a schedule, and you have a schedule, and then whoever you want to have on has a schedule, and to get all of those three things to line up perfectly is really fucking hard. So
it is,
I think you have to, if you love something, you if you really love it, you do cut the time out for it. Otherwise, it slips through the cracks.
We are in a lucky place. I mean, I came from the world of rock and roll bands, so I view it as a band. Absolutely. Tracy's a drummer over there editing. Brian's like the annoying bass player that sings all the time.
Honestly, I have a lot of voices, so we don't have many guests. I just do 2 or 3 voices and act like different people. I have conversations with myself. That's how we do it.
A lot of radio guys really truly used to do that back in the day.
Hello, I will be your guest. Yeah.
Instrumental wise, though, you could just always give them more cowbell. I don't know.
Amen, sister. Well said. I meant to tell you that one time you came over and we did that podcast on your show. You left that piece of foam, and I still have it. And it's not like you're at my house often. But all the girlfriends are jealous.
Noticed it right away. She's like, where's the foam piece? Yeah.
I need to find a way to get. I'm not being very good at. I need to get it back to you regardless. I'm sure you're missing it.
Well, I'm going to see you tomorrow, Bob.
Yeah, I could do it. I could bring it. Yeah, because all the girls are asking, where'd this piece of foam come from? I think this piece of foam came from another woman. I had some explaining to do, and right. It's just square though, so it's not very.
It just goes over our little equipment case, but.
Your equipment case is pretty bitchin'.
But Beulah noticed it. I know, your guys' stuff is super legit.
It's kind of big.
The crate thing came in super handy.
That looks like a spider sitting on the table.
Tips from the pros. What's the bell for, though?
Ah, yes.
I just noticed that.
So anytime you want to ring a bell.
Or say fuck.
That's right.
No. It's whenever somebody says something that can be misconstrued as something sexual, like a.
Oh, I used to do that all the time.
It's kind of like instead of saying that's what she said.
Yeah.
We just ring the bell.
Where is the bell?
It's right up here.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I used to do that all the time to the point where my husband would be like, "You were really flirty on that last episode," and I'd be like, "What the fuck what are you talking about?" And then I listened back through, and I was like, "Well, yeah, I could see how that could come off as sexual, but."
Yeah, you gotta have fun with it. Hey, by the way, nice shirt.
You gotta have fun with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
We could be really annoying. And that's tired of hearing the bell. Stop ringing that damn bell.
Yeah, my shirt.
Nice shirt.
Is by Bomonster.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Same artwork as your book. He's freaking, all of his stuff is so fucking rad.
Is it?
And his wife and him do it. That's his wife, right?
Oh yeah, Debbie. Mrs. Bomonster. Yeah.
It's nice to see that teamwork. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, they have a lot of good fun. But I got that. I view that artwork every morning. As soon as I wake up and open my eyes, that's what's sitting on my wall next to my bed.
Yeah, actually someone was like, is that somebody fucking on the bike? And I was like, well, no, it's just a girl in their bathing suit. And he goes, oh, I thought there was somebody else there.
We see what we want to see.
I guess.
Apparently.
That's true.
But yeah,
just like people hear what they want to hear too. Yeah. It's like selective hearing, kind of like peripheral vision or selective memory. It's selective hearing too.
Yeah,
Men tend to have that more than women, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're a bunch of pigs. That's just how it works. That's why we enjoy your podcast more than most.
Yeah.
Any flat track racing in the future?
No, I just had knee surgery, so it's
shit, I forgot.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I'm lucky that I got to ride my motorcycle here today.
Yeah, you're looking
good. I thought there was going to be flat tracking to watch here today, but I guess not. No flat track here?
I thought there was, aren't they?
I don't think so.
What?
No,
Did I miss? I was looking forward to hitting that up later.
I don't think it's going on.
Yeah, well, shit. That's a big pile of crap. How did I miss that? I thought for sure they were flat. Did something get canceled?
I think something got,
How do you tell 50 flat trackers, no thanks, see you later, bye?
Well, I don't think that's what it was. I think the 50 flat trackers just didn't show up or something.
Crap, I would have shown. I got my scoot. I'm ready to go. Let's go. Put me in.
Yeah, throw me in, coach.
Exactly. That'd be great, man. I got a scoot, although I don't have my.
You'd be fine. You're not. It's just you against you.
Yeah,
so.
Pretty much.
Would you get? I wonder though. Would you get first, second, and third place trophies, or would that be greedy?
They'd probably refer to you as the master baiter.
They melt all the trophies.
Nobody
down
rang
and
the
make
bell
one
for
big
that.
One.
He rang the bell for put me in, but not for the masturbator.
We got Connie to say masturbator.
That's too much.
Yeah, it's a good time though. We're having a good time. Girl on a Moto podcast.
Yep.
I'm not gonna lie. I think you can find my show almost everywhere you can find your show.
Yeah,
we're catching up.
Yeah, it's weird. I guess you kind of and that maybe makes me bad. Beulah's very good at making sure it's so easy for anybody possible to find our show. So like on our website or on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, all that shit. I tend to have a lot of problems with SoundCloud though.
Yeah, I haven't tapped into that one yet.
SoundCloud is
I just did Castbox.
Yeah, and I've been paying them money though, so I'm gonna.
Oh, they're your main. So I've been using Podbean.
Yeah,
that's been rocking pretty well.
Well, like
that's the main
SoundCloud, they only let you continuously have so many hours, you know?
Right.
Unless you pay for like this unlimited
premium,
bullshit, which I do pay for. But then now, like when I go to upload, it'll say like, oh, there's an issue with SoundCloud. So it's like, well, what the fuck am I paying SoundCloud for if there's gonna be issues? That reminds me, like, I'm just like losing money left and right because I just forget shit.
It's important. I mean,
like Al and I
lucky.
both have Netflix, or we both have Prime. Like, there's money being lost here.
It's one more thing. I suspect, though, in 10 years, everyone will have their own podcast. Or maybe we'll have
blogs, right? Like, everyone had blogs.
Thank you.
For, like, again, I don't have any patience. So I'm not going to sit there and read your, like, mini novels, but I will listen to shit.
You're not going to read my novel?
Well, your book is different.
Oh,
it's
okay.
like a
You're
real
so sweet.
book, which I appreciate you putting into a real book instead of just being like, here it is online.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, it's as published as published can get.
Yeah.
I've been having a lot of fun with it, that's for sure.
Well, remember, we had like a joke because I feel like everyone on their Instagram, their little bio is like, you got to fluff yourself up there, and it's like, writer. Oh, yeah. It's like, oh, I'm a writer, I'm a published model, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what the? No, you have a blog. That doesn't make you a writer.
Oh,
like,
the new thing
can
is...
I buy your book at Barnes & Noble? Then no.
No, the new thing is people that have their own, like, TikTok, they think they're actors. So they'll do, like, little 20-second clips where they talk over, like, some movie scene, and then they say they're actors.
Are you fucking serious?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
They put that on their resume.
Well,
so then when I had a little rant, and I do it. I've been a lot better. I've really tried to get calm my rants down, or just say I'm at home and leave it at that. But I remember being like, since when does everybody a fucking writer? Like last time I checked, and then Bob's like, well, I am, and I was like,
I kinda am.
Bob, this wasn't about you.
That's right.
Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's the American Idol effect. Okay, so you have a show like American Idol, and everybody thinks they can sing. So that's why everybody goes on American Idol, and they're like, I'm going to be the next American Idol, I'm going to be the next star, and then they step up to the mic and they sound like shit, but they don't know that. Well, everybody can write, everybody's been through elementary school, so everybody thinks they're a writer, and it's only when they actually do it and then give it to somebody that somebody's like, no, you are not a writer.
And so that's where, do you think, okay, well, clearly these people don't have good friends because, they've just been supported by their family and friends saying, you're amazing.
Yeah.
You're so great. And that's, it boils down to, participation ribbons. It's another thing, making everybody think they're awesome when they're fucking not.
Oh,
everybody gets a trophy.
We don't do that at my workshop.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of people who've come in and they've wanted that pat on the back, and we've been like, no. You keep on shifting verb tense, and look, you did this wrong, you did that wrong, and then they never come back.
Yeah, it's one thing. One of my favorite writers is Hunter S. Thompson, the Gonzo style. It's a very different style, but you have to
no periods, no commas,
being
no
an
structure.
eccentric writer is pretty hard to do.
Oh yeah.
And there's a difference between that and just being a shitty writer.
Yep.
So
you got to know the rules to break them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still learning the rules, so I still haven't figured out which ones to break or not to break. But learning to write was a lot of fun.
It's the kind of the same thing too. If it makes you happy, fuck it. It's the same thing with art. Some people can look at an art piece and say that looks like a fucking blob of paint and don't see it, and other people can look at it and see something beautiful. So it's kind of it always is to each your own thing.
There's a big difference between an author and an award-winning New York Times bestseller author, of which I am not.
Yeah. See, and those authors that I was telling you about, most of the books that I like reading, they're New York Times bestseller, and so that
Agreed.
I read the synopsis and then I'm like, okay, this is for me.
There's a lot of stuff out there that I would call literary graffiti. If you go on Amazon, sometimes you'll find a lot of 99-cent books, and you download it and you see why people are basically giving it away. You read 2 paragraphs and you find 3 grammar errors, and you're just like, no, I can throw this away. I lost 99 cents, whatever. And it's all of that garbage out there that we have to be better writers so that we can
Yeah, you'll
rise above it all.
only find 2 grammar errors in the first 2 paragraphs of American Roadrunner. So we're in.
Yeah,
That was
and
a
both
joke.
of them were you misspelled your name.
That's right. Right, and I put the semicolon in the wrong place.
Mob Marshall.
Mob Marshall.
I think that too, like slang is different. That's where you can
Yeah, I do have a
overlook-
bit of different slang in my
Yeah,
book.
slang is like, okay, well, that's a gray area.
Well, even slang,
a hard
you got to
one.
do it right. You got to put the commas in right. I think a lot of people do this kind of like this free thought,
run-on
like,
sentence.
Yeah,
It's run-on sentence because that's what's in their head. It's just like blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
And it's the same thing with people when they just like hearing themselves talk, too. It's just like on and on and on.
Yeah,
and
just no filter. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
Like how we do a podcast. Oh, sorry. That's not what we're talking we're not talking about ourselves.
Yeah, no, podcasts are the same thing, but you don't have to listen to it if you don't like it.
Right.
That's true.
You
we're
don't
pretty
have to buy the
fortunate
book,
though.
or I guess if you buy the book and you don't like it, though, that's kind of shitty.
I'll
but-
give you a full refund. I promise. I don't mind. I totally get it. Or feel free to burn it in the middle of nowhere if you need a lot of fire. I don't.
Is there a place for someone to like leave a review on your book, though?
Oh yeah, Amazon.
On Amazon.
Yeah, on
Okay.
Amazon. Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
always a big one that I look out for. I
know.
enjoy
I
the
forget.
Amazon reviews.
I forget about that. Like, I think, and that just shows that like Beulah and I do our podcast because we genuinely enjoy it. We hope people like it, but we like it and we like doing it. We stopped like reminding people to review it and leave us a comment or
Right.
leave us a review. We stopped or follow it. We stopped doing that like fucking 4 or 5 episodes in.
Right.
But you really should do it. Like if you like someone's content
yeah.
and you really appreciate it or you enjoy it, then it's like do them a solid and it takes simply like a couple minutes to write, hey, I think this podcast is rad and fucking
I
write
enjoyed
on.
this.
Yeah, and the same thing like a book, especially when it's like someone doing it like out of their own pocket and it's not like the fucking man,
Yeah, this is all my own pocket
Take
on my
take
book.
the
I
time
know
to
you.
like write a review.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Your
it means a
podcast,
lot
same way.
to us artists to have that verification that somebody looked at it, considered it, and even, you know what? Even if it's something bad, I'd still say thank you. Like, you know what?
Well, yeah,
It
because
takes
you
that
learn from it
work
too.
on
you
it.
know?
Absolutely.
And it's
Absolutely.
really hard to not offend people these days too. So I mean, you could be a valid thing where you take away from it, or just something that you're conscious of now because at the end of the day, you're not really trying to offend
Yeah.
people, but it's so fucking easy to do. So
Well,
I think
everybody's a critic, and I think people they think that if they're going to be a critic, it means that you have to be critical. Like you always have to say something negative. So that's what you see a lot of times. Like if you go on YouTube and you look at movie critics,
Yeah.
a lot of these guys just put up a video and they're just blasting something like, oh, there's plot holes there and blah 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 blah, and just talking shit about it. And it's because they don't realize that, hey, you need to approve of the good stuff. You can't just like
Yeah.
only post rants about.
Yeah, I
about
think the
stuff.
best way for people to realize, like, and it's funny because I've gone to therapy before. Everybody needs that mental break, but
Amen.
my therapist was like, we actually show adults the movie, why am I drawing a blank right now? Inside Out. The Disney movie Inside Out, which is
Okay.
about feelings, emotions, all of that. And if you watch that movie, you wouldn't know what joy is if you didn't know what sadness was. And like that's like there's good and bad, and there's always gonna be the two because that's the way the
yin
world
and yang.
goes.
Amen.
And that's like my favorite. Back in the day, I loved the show The Facts of Life. You take the good, you take
Yeah,
the bad, you
right.
take them both, and there you have the facts of life. That's it.
Great.
Yeah. No one is perfect. Nothing's going to be perfect. No one's always going to see it your way. That's why I always just say, like, this is a podcast with mine and Beulah's thoughts and opinions. It's not the know-all, be-all. So
Yep.
we're not trying to say our way is the right way and the only way.
But I love that, especially, from a female point of view. We need more female excuse me, I get them mixed up. We need more female riders. I almost said writers. I got to be very careful being a rider and a writer.
Well, I think when I started riding, the female riding percentage was only like 14%.
Yeah,
so it's gone up
to
even
like
in the last
23 or something.
Yeah,
now.
yeah. So it's gone up within
Pretty
a
exciting.
couple of years.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
You're getting there. I'm just saying, y'all can birth babies, so you rock. Like, you got my...
There's so many ladies before us, which is the
Exactly.
best part.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you,
many
thank
ladies
you.
before us, but like just got to keep it alive.
I'm glad you had a good ride out. Your new Burt Reynolds scoot is treating you well?
Yeah, Burt Reynolds we're doing really good together.
That's good.
I love him.
That's good.
I miss Willie, but Burt Reynolds and I are getting there.
Yeah. Good.
No one wanted to ring the bell for that? No, I'm just kidding. We do things.
I was kind of sad thinking about Burt Reynolds and how he just passed away like a year ago. I'm not going to ring the bell.
It was really awesome, actually. On this freeway right here, the 215, they had a big digital billboard, and on the day he passed away, it had his picture, and it said like over and out, and his, and I cried because I had already planned that I was going to name my next bike Burt Reynolds, and then he passed away, and I was like, he fucking passed away before I could buy my bike. So, but whatever.
So it was an honor.
Yeah, I have a friend here, and his Instagram handle is Burnt Reynolds.
There you go. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, we're excited about the future of your podcast, future of your riding career.
I'm excited for you guys too. It's nice.
Yeah, we're having fun, moving it around,
Pod
sharing
nerds.
stories.
Oh, well, have you guys thought about doing the Podcasters Challenge then?
Yeah, we really haven't.
No?
We haven't signed up.
This is the first time
we
I've heard about it.
Yeah, so we did it last year, the Motorcycle Podcasters Challenge, and so it's a challenge between a lot of different motorcycle podcasts, and last year we were the first female podcast, and we had the most riders sign up for our team.
Look at Annette smiling.
Yeah, Annette was part of our team, Becky was part of our team, and we didn't win, and it's more because it was like and the rules have changed this year, so we can get you guys the info, but it was like collecting letters, like, they do like the lotto where the letters would pop up, so it's random, and you'd have to ride to a city, take a picture in front of like the fire department or police department, and you got points on these letters. They all had a different value, so you tried to go somewhere that had like the most fucking letters, right? Well, out here we're going against people that have like boroughs, and they were counting like these fucking crazy cities or towns, and it's like, how the fuck are we gonna compete with that?
Right.
So they changed it up a little bit, but for us, I feel Beulah and I were it was a win for us to be the first female only podcast, and then have the most teammates, like the most women sign up for our team, opposed to any other podcast out there. So that was a win for us right away. But you guys should do it this year. I know creative writing is also in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look into it. Our biggest problem is I don't own a scoot with a speedometer, so
I haven't
figured
you do
out.
have to have a speedometer.
I haven't figured out. I couldn't compete last year because of that. So.
But you can get people to sign up for your team.
Amen.
But
exactly.
Annette's already on our team, so I'm calling
I'm
dibs
gonna
on
have to
Annette right now. Dibs on Annette.
Didn't this happen
Becky,
last time?
Basically, any of the Inland Empire Litas, I'm calling dibs on.
Maybe we're just going to promote everybody over to your team. Let y'all rock it and have your. So if you're listening to this, feel free to look up Girl on a Moto. Join the team.
We're gonna make our own
challenge
club. No, we're gonna make our own male club, kind of like the Litas. We're gonna be the IE fellas or something.
Nice.
To compete with the Litas. We're gonna sign up
yeah.
a whole lot of fellas for our motorcycle podcast. That's right.
Race the four corners of the IE in today. See who gets our fastest. Race to the death. First one there wins. Oh God.
First one there.
That's the difference between men and women riders.
On that one.
Wait, is it the first one dead wins? Is that what?
Yeah, there you go. You definitely win if you die
I know,
first.
right?
Hey, this is men we're talking about. Doesn't that make sense?
Well, that makes sense.
That
but
makes
it doesn't
sense.
make sense. So.
Thanks for being here, Connie. We
Thanks
appreciate
for having me.
I'll let you
I'm gonna
back
go
at
get
it.
a hot dog.
Yeah. That was pretty fast.
And you know what? We're going to end it on that, guest. So we're going
Yeah.
to wrap things up here. Thank you so much for coming out,
All
Connie.
right. Bye, guys.
Ta-ha.
From the
Yahtzee.
Hippie Killer.
The Hippie Killer Hoe Down 2019.
Yes.
Peace out. Be good people.
Get out of there.
So yes, that was Connie, Girl on a Moto. Just a big thanks to everyone listening. We've had a lot of fun being out here with our Monster booth and all our cool banners, lots of books. I know personally I've had a lot of fun signing books and getting the stories out to the masses. If anyone is interested, of course, the book's always available online and all the regular places you get to buy books from. Brian, did you have a good time?
I had a great time. And you know what? To anybody who did see us today at the Hippie Killer event, and this is your first podcast of ours that you were listening to, thank you so much for visiting.
Amen.
Check out our other podcasts. We have some other really good ones as well.
Lots of episodes for you.
And check us out on Facebook, American Road Runner, thebook.com.
Yeah.
You can check us out on Instagram. Find us, say hello and share us. And you know what? Just, go out there, ride, and be safe.
Yep, rubber side down. We'll talk to you next time.
All right, thank you.
Be good people.